Hey, have you ever considered to be the leader of a team? A team leader and really do this kind of thing? Or did you think that, oh, this team leader who's doing it right now is not really doing such a good job and you should be actually doing this and you could do it better? Well, we are in the communication leadership team training here. And one of the things is to learn how to set up and run teams. Yeah? And if you look at companies, a lot of times there is like a person who is like leading the whole thing, and that person is there for any kinds of reason, maybe not necessarily being the best person to actually do the job, and a lot of times they believe they can tell everybody what to do and manage them. Well, we're not looking into this because our example is that here for Reduce CO2 Now, we are all volunteers. So you can't really tell anybody to do anything. That's not how it works. And imagine that you would be running a company that really a team is like aligning on what they are doing. That's like one of the things, by the way, it's called agile project management. Their team is actually doing this. Yeah, that's why it works. So you don't want to you think like in the military, they have that somebody is like commanding, okay, you do that. Yeah? So we're not having commanding here because commanding only works in very specific situations. If if you are in a war and it's like really, you can't just sit around and have the team like decide what to do. It's a good idea and like in special forces I will be doing this, but a lot of times you just have to command people to get things done because commanding is an efficient way to get certain things done. But complex projects, keeping people engaged and so on, different story. So we are taking commanding out of the question. So, and now you have a group of people, let's call them a team. And what is really helpful is to create one role, and this role is called the team leader. Yeah? So, team leader. But it's basically just like this person is part of the team and they're just doing a different job. So, what is the job now? The team leader has to take care that the team actually works and performs. That's the job of the team leader. Create an environment that the team works. By the way, in our Reduce CO2 Now, we are doing this, that we say, hey, the team can choose a team leader, And it's like really the thing, like saying, hey, team, choose your team leader. And B, if for any reason during the operation you find out that this team that you want to have a different team leader, the team can just decide to have a different team leader, but swap one for the other. Okay, so what is now the role of the team leader? First of all, again, it's not like the boss saying and commanding, you are going to do all this. No, that's actually not how it works because we want to keep everybody motivated, engaged in the activity. So that's and we want to have the team aligned on what this is what we want to achieve, and this is how we do this. So what is now really the task of a team leader? So first of all, organize a regular, especially weekly team meeting where you bring people together and then decide on how you're going to proceed. So this is one of the tasks. Organize a weekly meeting with your team when you're a team leader. Yeah? Do that. Have at least one meeting where you say, okay, what did we plan to do in the last week? What did we actually do? Is there any lessons learned? How can we become better? Is anything missing? And so on. So then really the most important thing of a team leader is to raise the spirit and the motivation of the team. Acknowledge them. Hey, you have done a great job. There is all kinds of problems what we have, but we are really moving forwards, these kind of things. So really take care that not only people are producing something, but also their spirits are kept high. Why? It's a very good idea in any case. Imagine that if your boss would be really thinking, hey, I'm just one person who is taking care that we have the ability to produce something, that we are have the tools to work, and we keep ourselves motivated. So, and then one important thing, you bring structures. Yeah, for example, agile. Bringing there are different roles in agile. Bring it up. agree on people taking on different roles. What are they doing? Like, for example, picking what kind of thing they are working on during the next sprint or during the next week. Let's call this 1 week thing a sprint. So, and then of course the team leader is having, there's like a team and there's other teams. So the team leaders kind of thing is that they're like connecting with other teams, so that not all the team members have to do this, but like how, these other guys have like done that, or you bring information, you bring your request, what you want to have from other people to there, that not everybody has to do this. That's like why a team leader exists. That's just one role in a team to do coordinating activities with other people, and it's like, maybe, it's a more complicated. So one of the main things, imagine that in all companies or in all organizations you have worked for, that the team leader isn't really the one who's like commanding things. But like in agile, they do it like this. They come together and they say, here, this is all the stuff we open. Let's call it the user stories. It's like all the stuff we have. And then now we agree on who's going to work on what. They are like picking the user stories and then they're working on this. And maybe you find out how somebody has to take this story and nobody does it. So you can like invite somebody, hey Thomas, can you take this? Because somebody has to do it and it's a quite important thing, yeah? So, or you can like request, Thomas, please do that, It's still, the command, because the command is like, Thomas, you are going to do that. That's, you hear the sound is different. And especially in an all-volunteer organization, everybody is here and working on their own merit. Yeah? So they want to be recognized, and you can't really command them because, they always have the option to just go. So you want to have like alignment, and that's why it's not a very simple thing to be a team leader. You want to achieve something and you don't have the authority. Trust me, it's called, in a lot of companies, it's called a project manager, because in companies it works like this. They set up a project, and I have been a project manager for quite some time, and then there's like these commanders, let's call them managers, or like senior managers, or like, you have like usually like a line structure where everybody has got a boss. And these people can command somebody and say, Thomas, you're going to work on these kind of things this week, or you're going to work on this project. These kind of people can command you to anything. They tell you, you're going to do that, Okay, and the project managers, they have a project. So they maybe have like some budgets or money coming from customers or so on. That's like sometimes, but sometimes it's just internal projects. So these project managers are running around and they're trying to find resources, people actually working for them. Yeah? But they don't have the command possibility. And that's freaking hilarious in a lot of companies. That's why a lot of projects don't work. Because like all these line managers have totally different incentives. They don't care for your projects at all. And then these project managers are running around and they don't have any kind of authority. Yeah? Still, when we are talking now about such a team manager, it's not like a project manager. But imagine that, like you can't command. Your job is to enroll people into the mission, keep them, their spirits up, align as a team and say, hey, like, okay, we have all these jobs, they all have to be done, who's taking which, and the kind of things. So, yeah. And now, why should you be actually doing something like this? Anyway, first of all, because it's sort of needed, and it's an exceptional training ground, because, it's called the Communication, Leadership and Team Training. So if you're just like working inside of a team, you're already going to learn something. But like actually imagine you want to be driving a car. You could be watching YouTube videos of people driving cars the whole day. Yeah? It would make probably, you maybe get like the road signs and okay. And even like you could see training videos of people driving cars all day. it would work. In certain areas, you would know, when I drive on, I do this, and when I see this sign, I'm going to do that. So you have you're getting some knowledge. But, now I sit you in a car, how does it work? Well, you actually have to do the driving. So, and that's when you take over the role of a team leader, and then you really learn and engage and motivate your team. Because that's your main thing. Engage, motivate your team, set up how the team is working, that they can be successful, and so on. So that's really your job. Thank you very much for watching. Please follow the channel.